Welcome to the checkout. Andy and Corbin here for Premier League Night 13. We're going to break down all the matchups. You guys know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and leave us a comment. Tell us what darts you like. And just a reminder, we will be live on Thursday. It starts about 2:15 p.m. Eastern time, my time. Corbin, I think that's 7:15 your time over in England. So we will be live. We're watching the darts. And guys, if you are a live betting fan or you just love the entertainment, Corbin and I have discovered like live betting on Thursdays and betting in the moment is very, very profitable. It's the best way to do it. We've discovered this season. And you were saying, like, Corbin, like, you just get a feel for how the night is going. Whereas if you put plays in 4 days before, you're just kind of
exactly especially with these shorter formats. We mention it all the time. It's so much harder in these first to six, best of 11, because if Litler comes out and starts slow just for like 2 legs, then he's already behind, and it's so hard to catch up. It's so heavily weighted on who throws first most of the time, just gives them a huge advantage, and there's just no time for them to regroup. And I was just saying, in set format like the World Championships, where we do our best work, if Litler starts off slow, he can lose the first set and then regroup in the break and come back firing. So it's really just better on the night, really, at this stage. So,
well, the Luke Darley is Bunting is just the king of killing these overs. It's just it's been brutal this year. So let's start with Littler and Bunting. Littler, the clear, obvious favorite. I got to be honest. If I'm watching and Littler throws first, I'm firing away on the -1.5. I know it's juiced. It's got to be a parlay piece. Bunting won that random night. He's been awful just since then. I think this is Littler in a stomping. What do you think?
I'm shocked that Litler isn't like -500 or more. Like, again, he hasn't been at his best the last 2 weeks, but even not at his best, I think he closes this out versus Bunting. There's other plays that I'm looking at. I mentioned how bad he is, but I am going to go to his average at 96.5 for Bunting. If I read you his averages that he's had versus Litler, he's had 106, 102, 104, 99 and 100 all this year when he's been diabolically bad. Like, even at the weekend, he had 104 average against Campbell, who's like unranked. He's like so far down, and he lost that game, and he still did it. It's the perfect recipe playing Littler for over on averages, because if he's playing bad, he's not going to get any checkouts. So all his normal scores are just going to count. He's not going to spend 6 years trying to check out at 20. That's bringing his average down, because Littler won't let him hang around that long. He has to score that high, because otherwise this game will be 6-0 or 6-1. Littler's still going to average 100 plus. So I really like playing the averages against Littler, especially on Bunting. I know it didn't cash last week. He went under, but if it's at 96.5, I'm just going to continue to just auto play it. So,
I mean, plus 175 at the match treble seems grossly
generous.
Yeah. Generous was the right word. I was like, joke. He's probably going to win. He's going to have the most 180s, and now you're just really looking at the highest checkout. So that's the one I would be looking at.
I wouldn't. This is 1 week I wouldn't play Littler over his 180s. He started slow the last couple of weeks, but also the obvious problem is if there's only 7 legs, if he wins it 6-1, there's not very long for him to get 5 180s or whatever. So yeah, I won't be playing anything on the 180s on that one. So
we'll move on to Aspinall and Hollywood Chris Dobie, one of the funniest nicknames in all of sports. If you ever tune into our live show and you watch Chris Dobie, just know his nickname is Hollywood, and he looks nothing.
He's the least Hollywood person out there.
Literally,
even Bunting is slightly more Hollywood than him.
Yeah, because it's kind of goofy and different, and kind of quirky and everything. Like literally everybody. Gerwen Price is more Hollywood. Van Gerwen's definitely more Hollywood. Littler's the most obvious.
Yeah, he's Hollywood. The Hollywood
star. Rob Cross, not.
He's an electrician, Andy. Let him off.
Not very Hollywood, but Aspinall with Dobie, pretty close to a pick him here. Dobie at minus 125. I think you're going to go on your weekly Nathan Aspinall's continuously underrated rant, aren't you?
He is like I again. I'm going to preface this one. I'm not playing either of them this week, but for Aspinall to be the underdog every single week against whoever he plays is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I can't. I don't trust either of them in this spot. I don't know what I'm going to get from either of them. 5 of Dobie's last 6 have gone under 8.5. Some of him getting smoked, some of him doing the smoking. It's like, I don't know if the Dobie that comes out and hits 6 180s is going to show up, or the one that's going to come out and average 85 and be a snooze fest. I have a sense that they're both going to come out very slowly, and it's going to be one of those slow, sluggy games that goes over in the end, and they're both in the like 90 averages. I don't think this is going to be a pretty game. So
Well, I mean, look at this. So Aspinall's plus 100, but he gets the minus 105.
yeah, that makes no sense at all.
So I don't get it. I'm with you. I don't even want to look at the props for this. I don't know what's going to happen. Dobie could go flying over his 180s or have one.
Exactly. There's really nothing. Like Aspinall's consistent, but he's not great on the props kind of
Yeah.
side of it. So
We move on to Luke Humphreys and Gerwen Price. Is Price back?
again, it's the same kind of theme. I don't know what Price we're gonna get. Like Price comes back and wins the show last week after looking appalling for like the last like month. Like to me, there's only one spot, and you probably know where I'm going with this. It's the old line on Humphreys 180s. I don't know what is regular. It's probably still 2.5 because he's been going under.
Yeah, Humphreys is 2.5.
Yeah, well, I would sprinkle the under 2.5, and I really love the 3.5. I mentioned it last week, and it continues to cash. Cashed in all 3 games because he got to the final last week. That's now an 11-1 run to the
Wow.
under 3.5, and it's a minus 200. You can put that with over 7.5 legs and get a pretty decent play. That's what I'm gonna do. So
I like it.
that's my favorite play on the board. I should mention that, and the Bunting Average are probably my 2 plays that I love. So
I feel like these guys who win a night kind of have a little bit of a letdown. So I wanted to be like, oh, I want Gerwin Price at plus 110. I was like, these guys that win, they're not. It's not always like, oh, they're catching a wave of momentum.
yeah,
Sometimes it's they kind of
exactly. Bunting won a night and then went out the first week. Next week,
awful.
it's like it really means nothing, quite honestly. And
Yeah,
then you can't take Humphreys at minus 140. That's a ridiculous line. So
I like the over. I think the over 9.5 is pretty good. I think
yeah,
these guys are very, very equal. So even the alt total at 8.5, I think is parlay worthy.
yeah.
Yeah, minus
That
300.
that
That's
and
not
Lit
bad.
that
That's
and
not bad.
Littler money line is definitely an option.
There you go. Now we're building some parlays. Yeah, that'd be a way to look. Let's see what that is. While we're recording
I
it live. Um,
yeah.
yes,
There you go.
there's your play. All
Don't
right.
go crazy on it. It's not like a 3 or 4 unit play, but
No,
it's
but that's a great price
definitely
on.
worth a unit or 2. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's your Humphreys and Price. Before we get into the last game, Cross and Van Gerwen, what do we have up at Wager Talk? 5% gold UFC plus live golf parlay. Our 5% plays, guys, in 2025 have been lights out, 10-2 run on those, and I'm not even including the PFL debacle. We just left that one out. So we went 1-1 on our 5% plays last week. The one that we hit was a UFC and live golf parlay.
yeah.
So we're going back to what works for us. If you're watching this Wednesday or Thursday, PFL pack is up. We're 5-1 so far in PFL. Again, I left off that PFL debacle, not putting that as part of our record. So PFL has been fantastic for the bankrolls, and these cross sport parlays and these 5% plays have been really, really good. So we're going to focus our attention on the darts betting on the live show. That's been the best results for us and the best results for our bankrolls. So we probably won't have any pre-match plays for clients, but you want darts plays, watch that. But what do we recommend? We recommend the 5% UFC live best bet. That's up there. Last match in the first round, Rob Cross, Michael Van Gerwen. I guess I would take Van Gerwen, but I just can't be that. I can't be that confident in it, but I don't know. There's just something about Rob Cross. I can't. I can't wrap my head around. I would definitely take a look at his under 180s. We watched him multiple times get those first two and then go after the treble 19 if he didn't like the dart setup. The books are all over it though, so it's minus 200. Not sure I can put that in a parlay because I think it's a little risky. So I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, it's one of those first round Van Gerwen is normally his best, but he started really slow. He's had to come from behind both of the last 2 weeks. Again, Cross is one of those, he can just come out of nowhere and just win a random game, and you're like, how did he do that? And then he'll go back to being bad. Like, no scoreline would surprise me in this one. I lean Van Gerwen, maybe an over. I don't know what the over 8.5 is in this one, but that's the only thing I could kind of get there. Maybe the total 180s under. You mentioned Cross. He should go under 2.5. And Van Gerwen normally starts slow at times in the first round recently. So if the under is 5.5,
What's the total in this one?
you no, you can't go
Four and
under.
a half.
Yeah, I've never seen
What?
it. You can't take an under 4.5. It's one of those if you.
That's an over. I mean, just on sheer principle. 4.5 in
No,
match.
I can't lay minus 140 on two guys that I don't think could
I'll
get
go
more
head to
than
head
2
with
each.
you. I'll take it. We'll go. This will
Okay.
be fun. We'll go head to head. We'll talk about it on the live stream. We got to remember this. 4.5 is insulting. Litler and Bunting is 7.5.
See, I like the under in that because I don't like. I could see this being so quick that like Litler has 4 or 5 and Bunting has 1 or 2.
Also,
So
if Littler gets up, he loses his motivation for the flair. You know, his motivation for like the showy,
yes.
like type things. Like if he gets up big, he the one thing he will do is he'll set himself up for a 170.
Also, the fact that he's been so bad the last couple of weeks, I think is just going to spur him on. I think he's going to come out like a bull in a china shop.
Okay.
Also, quickly to go back to it, what's you mentioned is minus 1.5. What's in minus 2.5? Because if he's throwing first, I could get behind that as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they don't have it.
They won't even give it to you. They want you to go down to -3. Oh wow, 6-2. That's a lot. Of course, it is. It is Bunting who's been.
It all depends if he
dog
throws
walked.
first. 6-2 is way more achievable if Littler's throwing first than
That's
if
true.
Bunting is.
That's true. All right.
It's one of those you're going to have to watch live to know who throws first. So.
All right. Well, Corbin and I are going head to head on the total 180s. I mean, I need one guy to have 3 and one guy to have 2. Surely I can get there. All right.
We have bullseyes quickly.
I was just getting ready to say we have to talk about those damn.
Because I have the stats, so I've been recording them as we've been going on. Because trying to find these stats is impossible. Only 3 players have hit one through this whole 3 weeks that I've been recording. I believe,
and we bet against all 3 of them.
Aspinall's had 2, Dobie's had 2, and Cross has had 1. I believe everyone else, like Litler, hasn't had 1. Van Gerwen hasn't had 1. Price hasn't, and nor has Humphreys. So, I mean, I'm looking down the list. I like all of them. Like,
I know.
Price has been by far the worst out of all the ones I've recorded.
Yeah.
He's the one, again, minus 500. I think that's a parlay piece. He's attempted 2 in like 6 games. It's just, there's so many of these that you could take.
Yeah, Littler hasn't gotten there, and then you could just throw Cross in there. Cross isn't throwing up bullseyes.
Yeah, Cross has had 1, has attempted 2 in 4 games, but both were in 1 game.
Yeah, that was in Aspinall.
Yeah, Van Gerwen's attempted 3 in 5. Humphreys actually has one of the worst records. He's attempted it 3 times in 7, and he's not even been close.
Well, we could just do this.
You could take that one, and then
so if we just do Littler to not have 1, and then under in the Humphreys price,
there we go. Yeah,
that could get you there. So yeah,
there's so many combinations of this. I almost think, I know you don't like doing this, I almost think the way is like to round robin all of them together, like all 4 of them together, and put like a unit on the round robin. That way, if one of them loses and the rest still hit, you still make a profit.
It's a great way to look at it, because if we would have done that the weeks we tried to individually pick, we would have profited. Like they're not all going to get all of them.
But you will probably go 3 and 1. It's just making sure that you can still profit and you don't just lose or break even going.
So what's the strategy? So you say you go.
So I don't know if you can do this on DraftKings. So what I do is I put all of them in a bet slip together, and then I I forgot what it's called. It basically does a combination of each of them together.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
round robin. I go right to the bottom and do the round robin option.
Okay.
That's the kind of thing that I would do.
Okay. Yeah.
So you stick like 0.25 or half a unit or something on that,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that's how it works. So
Okay. Yeah, I like that strategy. I actually think we should implement it small and just roll with it for the next
yeah,
few weeks because you've done the math and yeah, if one guy gets it, you're not smoked, you're not steamrolled. So I
yeah.
think that's a great way to look at it. So all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Again, don't forget to check us out on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. That's where we're going to be live tomorrow. We already have people that are scheduling meetings for not on Thursday afternoons, which I just love because it's Darts Thursday. It's the best Thursday
You
of
shouldn't have to work. It should be a rule not to work whilst the darts are on a
absolutely.
Thursday.
We need
So
national holiday the day after Super Bowl and for darts.
every week.
Every absolutely. So, all right, Corbin. Good luck. Let's get after it tomorrow. Take care, guys. Good luck in your place. We'll see everyone later. Bye.
Good luck.